Okay, so today we're going to we got to cut a face cord. They want some seasoned wood. I haven't done any advertising this year for wood. It's just a farmer's market customer we have, and I've advertised them, so there's been a few of them that burn wood and have purchased some, and I got another one wanting a face cord of some seasoned wood. They have some wood now, but it's kind of green, and so we're gonna dive into this seasoned locust right here, and I got some maple, both soft and hard back there too, that's well seasoned, and take them a face cord of it because they need it pretty bad. It's nice down here now in February, but let's just say we're not going to get some cold snaps, which I'm sure we will. I use the little I don't even know how you pronounce it, duerr log splitter. This thing we've had for, golly, probably upwards of 15 years. It's been a great splitter. I've had to put an engine on it. I put a little Tecumseh motor on it, and a little 6 horsepower, but it's been a great splitter. It's got a little bit of a hydraulic leak over here. I have not used this thing, and I couldn't tell you when. I loan it to people. I let people use it. The Lord blesses me, and I try to bless other people that are actually in need of help. But so yeah, I've loaned it out to a bunch of people, let them use it. Another farmer's market customer of ours, he does his own wood, and he needed to use it to bust a bunch of wood, so I let him use it, and he brought it back and changed the oil on it, done some stuff for me on it. So he tries to help complete the circle of being of good. But so anyway, we're gonna get this started. We're gonna be using the 500i. Some of these are bigger logs. I don't have all day to use that little Husqvarna. The 500i built by Ripsaw. Well, it's not Ripsaw, it's RIPP Performance Saw. It's a performance work saw. It's been ported and everything, and it's got a West Coast, I think it's a bark box on it. I'm not even sure. I didn't order this saw. I bought it slightly used off a guy, and let me tell you what, this thing is awesome. Especially now that I've gotten it broke in. He'd only run 2 tanks of gas through it, and we'll be using that. And then this little the little junior saw here, the little Husqvarna 435, because some of this stuff is smaller. I'm probably going to use this for my marking saw to mark stuff out. So let's see if we can get this thing to start. Let's see, choke's on, switch is on. And look at that, 2 pulls. It's a good quality engine right there. It's been a great engine. I actually bought a go-kart for the kids some years ago, and that little engine was on the go-kart, and the go-kart needed a bunch more work than anticipated, so it wound up on the log splitter. I put the engine on this log splitter. So let that warm up. I got the skid loader warming up. I thought I had an IBC towed up here, and I don't. I've got these, what we call in the shipping industry, they're called Gaylords, and it's a fiber collapsible crate that's like 45 by 42, almost the same as a IBC tote, but it's only just over 2 foot tall. So I'm gonna do 2 of those full of rounds, and then I'll split them and we'll throw them on the truck. And because I gotta get that, I told them I'd deliver it to them this afternoon. We're gonna be creative and use this water trough here for to stack the rounds on. Split them, toss them in that crate. I'm gonna do 1 crate full of locust, and then I'll do 1 full of the maple. And some of these you'll see me leaving some of these in long pieces and getting them out of the way. Some of these are gonna get used as fence posts. You can't see them, but over here I've got a whole, there's probably 15 of them I've already sorted out of another pile that we're using for fence posts. Let's find us a measuring stick and get this party started. I like to run a Amsoil. I usually buy the Saber, but this is the Intimidator. The place I buy it at, I don't use a lot of Amsoil product. Actually, it's the only Amsoil product I use. But I do like their oil, their 2-cycle oil. It seems to burn real well and clean. But anyway, the place I buy feed at, one of my feed stores, they carry some of the Amsoil products, and they were out of the Saber, but they had that Intimidator, so I was using it back in summertime when I was doing a bunch of land clearing. I was a lot busier with the saws. I tried the Amsoil Red Armor, or not Amsoil, the Echo Red Armor, and I'll tell you one thing about it. I do believe it really cleaned some of these saws out, because I could tell a noticeable difference, you know, after running about 2 or 3 tanks of that stuff through. But I run 93 non-ethanol gas, a little gas station there in the big town of Damascus. They carry it, and it's actually relatively inexpensive. But I'll usually mix up about 2 gallons at a time. We'll let that run right there for a minute. Do a main style gramp stick to measure this. I used to actually live in Maine. Actually not too far from where old Russ Willie's from. Not far at all. I enjoyed living in Maine. We had a lot of fun. I still got a lot of acquaintances up there. But the cold don't bother me, as you see in my videos. I like being outside. Let me go ahead and put it in, because it's a little doty there in the middle, and get to 500 warming up. I'm gonna cut this big stuff. Be there for a month with this saw, cutting that big locust. That thing. You guys that aren't familiar with that stuff, man, when it's dry like it is, that stuff's, I mean, it's hard. You know, back in the day, that's all they ever built fence posts out of, was that locust. All the fences down here in the south, the Appalachian Mountains here, that's all they use, was locust. Built split rail fencing, I mean, everything. It lasts forever. You can walk through these woods here and find fences that were built back in the early I don't like getting sawdust in there. Back in the early 1900s. The posts are still standing, still solid. Unbelievable. Now these 500s, I see a lot of people talking about starting these things. Let me check this chain out. Yeah, it's pretty sharp. What I found, shut that thing off. These things, push that primer bolt about 10 times. 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hit that decomp. I don't know what is with that decomp. I've started doing that. I guess it spins it over faster and creates electricity for the injector, but it'll hit. Now that saw hadn't been ran in at least a month or better, because we've had so much snow. Because that last wood cutting video I did, I used that 359. But yeah, I found out 10 times on that primer bulb, decomp hits the second pull every time. It's gonna work out perfect. It'll lean right up against that. We'll let that run for a few minutes to get acclimated to the air. Put these rounds over here. I'm used to when I was younger, I used to sell a bunch of firewood. Then I started working night shift and 14 hours a day, and I didn't have time to do nothing, especially stuff I enjoyed doing. But it has afforded me a decent life now, so I guess it all works out, but daggone kids grow up so fast. It's unbelievable. These aren't very big rounds. If it's for me, I wouldn't even split them, but it's an older couple this stuff's going to, so I'm at least bust them in half. That way they'll air dry any, residual moisture from rain and stuff out of them pretty quick. Man, this thing's, if you know, you know. See if I can get a post out of this, and this will make a nice corner post if it's long enough. I don't know long enough. 6, 7, that'll be alright. Well, that old knotted part be in the ground. It'll be alright. Where were we at there? Really, you want your corner post is about 8 foot long. It's got a little bow to it. Looks solid down here though. Looks like we can get about 1 16-inch round out of that end down there. We'll have us a nice post as well. First started watching Russ Willie's channel. Great channel, great guy. I saw his grandpa doing this. I said, why in the world would he use that instead of something simple, He didn't have, but I figured it out. It takes the monotony out of it. First time I tried doing it, I was like, man, I've done whiz through all this wood, and if you got ADHD or whatever you want to call it, like I do, you're all the time wanting to do something different. So, you know, you use your stick, you cut a piece, you use your stick, you cut another piece. You just, you know, just so on, or mark it out, and then. But yeah, at least that's the way I feel for it. But all right, let's split some of this stuff, see what we have, because maybe a decent amount here actually already. See if this thing will fire back up as easy as it did before. Oh yeah. Ain't nobody need no Honda. This is old school splitting right here. I ought to use an axe, to be honest with you. This locust does split nice. And maybe you can see what I'm doing here. This stuff look at the straight grain this stuff is. It's heavy though, man. This locust, I'll tell you what, it's heavy stuff. This is the splitter I'm contemplating making a 4-way wedge for. I'm going to cut that pushing wedge off and cut the block on the end off and re-weld everything. And, a lot like the you know, the commercial splitters, the Wolf Ridge and all them, they got your wedge here and you slide the 4-way whatever down on top of it. I think it'd be relatively easy. I have the material to do it. So really contemplating. This stuff here is a little monotonous. Maybe I need to slow down a little bit in life, right? I was a little concerned about that water trough being uneven, but I tell you what, it works out well because the rounds roll right down to you. Look at this stuff. Absolutely beautiful. Talk about hot burning too, my goodness. Crazy thing is, this tree probably wasn't 20 years old. It'll last longer than it took to grow. You put it back in the ground. I got a bunch of dead standing oak down there, but after watching some Derek stuff the other day, a video he did about that oak he had dead standing, and you know, did a moisture test on. I'd asked him how long it took him to let it cure in a tote, and he said he had it there for 7 months after he cut and split it. I was like, oh boy. Yeah, I don't want to take any of that. That oak, it holds its moisture. That's one thing about it compared to some of this like locust and whatnot. Something I've been curious about watching all these other woodhounds cutting and splitting wood. You know, obviously I noticed Russ and Derek both, they measure out their cords before they split them, so I'd imagine they're getting, you know, giving their customers a little more bang for their buck. So I'm kind of curious as what everybody does, what they think about that, because, you know, obviously I feel that if you took unsplit rounds and then split them, you're going to wind up with quite a bit more than a cord. But I may be wrong. I haven't dabbled in this stuff enough here. We used to, you know, when we lived in Maine, everything was done by a cord, but down here in the South, everybody sells stuff by a truckload or a trailer load. And I guess there's a certain cubic foot madness to it, but it's hard to say. But the person I'm delivering this to, they're from New York, and they I asked her if she knew what a cord was. She said, yeah, that's how they always bought it up there. I said, well, okay, you know, that's good to know. This is where a 4-way would be real nice. Hopefully you can still hear me. The wind ain't too bad. Just about got this tote ready. Man, that's so stiff. Come across this wood in there. I'm not sure. I think it's hickory. I'm gonna get y'all's opinion. Here's what it that's what it looks like. Kind of red. It kind of looks like oak, but I don't know if that it is. Oh yeah, that's well, I don't know. It kind of smells. I think that is hickory. It's been dead standing hickory. It's on. Come off of a lot I was clearing. I cut a little more than I needed, but that's all right. I'd rather somebody give me a compliment than a complaint. Okay, I went and grabbed a few seasoned maple rounds out of the pile over there, and we're gonna add this into the mix of stuff. This tote right here, the way I have it stacked, this thing's all crooked. It's 42 inches long, roughly 30 inches tall, and it's full. I threw something extra on this side, so I'd say that's probably half of a face cord. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this maple, mix some of it in, and split it up and everything, and then I'll probably get it ready to split, and then I'll go get the truck and take this tote and dump it on there, and fill it up with the maple and then dump it. So stay tuned. All right, these are the rounds of maple here. My phone battery life's going down, so I didn't want to record too much. Probably too much for what I need, but after I split it, but it'd be all good. It's nice dry seasoned maple. I mean, that stuff's all right. We're gonna use this skid loader and dump this tote there on the back of the truck. I had to clean a bunch of junk off of it, and so we can do this. This will be the tote of locust, and I think there was some hickory or sassafras mixed in there with it. Okay, I don't know how much that got caught on camera, but that was a little disastrous. This tote slides around on them forks a little too easy. I should have used a tractor, but it will. I really didn't like how it dumped out in two nice, beautiful rows, though. Let's see, a cool thing, I guess. I wanted to put a row across the back here, so let me put this back in place. I'm gonna stack like a row across the back to hold it all in. All right, let's get to busting some of this maple here. You ran away behind today. The old splitter sure does run good. That bit of wood proved to be a little more than I thought it was on the truck bed anyway. We're gonna do the same thing with this maple. Pretty much fill this tote up again and dump it up there, I guess. Emery, if you want to start handing me the rounds, stacking them up here. Yeah, Emery come down here after. No, all the ones I've cut, put them up here. Maple's pretty nice. Straight grain wood too. Some of this stuff's barkless and some of it has bark. I don't like this with the bark on it. Makes a mess down the road. That's what that looks like. Almost looks like pine. Sure is some nice wood right here. Straight grain, dry. It's probably, I was trying to think of when I put them over there. Probably been down at least a year. It may have been about spring of last year. Take it and throw it in the tote like that and it busts right open. This old splitter ain't too slow. It ain't the fastest thing, but it ain't bad. Tell you what, that amount of rounds is almost perfect. That thing's full. So that's awesome. show you here what we wound up with. Oh, Becky. She's about full. It's stacked long ways this time, so it's 46 inches across. But let's take that and get it dumped on the truck, and we got to get going. So I got to get to the feed store before they close. So I'll show you the end amount here in a second. I'm actually not going to dump this. I'm going to finish stacking this across the back here and put a strap across it. I actually got a board, but it has screws in it, and I don't know where the impact is and everything else. So I'm going to finish building me a little tier up across the back here to run a strap on it. And
this also kind of helps ensure getting some of the junk like that bark off of it. This is pretty well barked, so I rolled them logs a couple times and I loaded them with the forks. Knocked a lot of the stuff off.
all right, here's what we end up with. I believe it's quite a bit more than a face cord, but this truck bed's 8.5 foot wide, so there's a one-hole rick across it that's over 2 foot tall. So anyway, it's just thrown in here. Of course, it's on top of the fuel tank there, but I didn't want to dump it again because I realized how close I came to the hitting the fuel filter there earlier, and I don't want to bust that. So I just tossed it up there, and then I wanted to build a little safety rick across the back. So not a bad little haul. I mean, it probably didn't take us maybe have an hour and a half into it all. That's setting up everything too. So anyway, let's head for delivery.